This is the Market Photo Workshop in Johannesburg, South Africa, a school looking to advance the country's strong photographic tradition. South African photographer David Goldblatt created this school in 1989 as a way to support black photojournalists excluded from learning the craft during apartheid. Today, the school equips aspiring photographers of all colours with practical tools and a platform for their work. Musa Nxumalo is part of this new generation, interpreting social issues through his lens. A former student at the school, he's returned to pass his knowledge forward. Musa, tell me what these pictures are here that we're walking past.
Okay, so these are the photographs of the sort of like an end of the year exhibition of the foundation and intermediate students for 2012.
For you, when you were a student, why did you want to get into photography?
Well, for me, I think it was either music or something that has to do with visuals. So when I heard of the school and the fact that they offer bursaries and how affordable it is, so I took the opportunity.
Now you have a project that you've just rolled out. Tell me about it.
So this is Alternative Kids. So I photographed that between 2008 and 2009. It's black kids who like rock music and the associated cultures. It was a culture that I associated with very closely as well.
Is that also why you wanted to do that specific project, to show something people aren't used to seeing, especially out of Soweto and townships?
The practice of photography has always been about when you have the camera, you go out to photograph maybe what people, you know, would consider good photographs or maybe a good subject matter to be published in a magazine or maybe in the news or what, you know. So I think with what is happening right now and with a lot of us who are getting to explore the medium, you know, we have a freedom of creating our own language first and then telling the stories that we want to tell, and then not necessarily following what, you know, would get us in the paper.
We've got some of the images here on the wall. As we walk past, just point out to me, I guess technically speaking, what makes it a good picture?
A good picture. I think we could just stop on this one, for instance. This is the picture of the intermediate student. You know, so usually if you see images of protests, you know, it's very like straightforward on, you know, photographing the protest or the bizarre things that people are doing there. But then this student chose to have a different angle to it.
This one is interesting here because it's almost two images at once.
It's two images at once. This is the intermediate students again in Lebogang. So it's actually two images that on post-production she matched them together. You know, and for me this is interesting, and as trainers when we're doing the editing we chose this photograph because also it talks about the artistic approach that the students, you know, explore with after they've took like photographs, you know. So I might assume that she took different photographs and then she thought, no, they're not working as similar photographs, and then explored when she got to post-production, and this is what she came up with, which is interesting. So a
lot of creativity, not just in the actual image but sometimes in how you develop it in the post-production, which is all done here. As we talk about the future of South African photography, African photography, what do you think makes Johannesburg stand out? Now that you know some of the legendary photographers who've documented the conflict and the uprising and the struggle for independence, but now where do things stand?
I think when it comes to Johannesburg and the new generation of photographers that are coming out of here, is that I think other than any other country, you know, there is a large number of young people, and especially black people who are exploring with photography.
Do you think photography in South Africa is where it needs to be?
Definitely not yet, you know, and especially for up and coming photographers. I think we still need to develop our own voice and our own issues or ideas that we want to discuss.
It's very apparent to me now that while many photographers have moved from the dark room into the digital age, the goal here in South Africa for most of them remains the same: to capture the evolving story here one frame at a time, no matter what it takes. You can see some of our frames from this week's show at cnn.com/Inside Africa. You can also tell me who you think are some of the best photographers in your part of the world right now via Twitter under Errol CNN. I'm Errol Barnett in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I'll see you online until next time.